welcome to this lower body workout with me, Jasmine. You're going to do this with me in real time, so we're doing it together. For this workout, you can do it without any equipment. It is hard enough on its own, I promise. But I'm using here a 20 kg bar, two 7 kg dumbbells and a booty band for added intensity. So 45 seconds on and 15-second rest. Get ready to go with squats to begin with. Few seconds.
3, 2, 1, go.
Okay, so starting off, you're going to set that leg to the side and you're going to sit down in your squat. Make sure when you are sitting down in that squat, your knees are tracking over your toes, and as you push up onto that one leg, you're going to really engage through the glutes and through the quads and hamstrings. So we're stepping out to the side and then driving up through that one leg to come back and bring both legs together. So this is really targeting into that one leg, and then of course we're going to swap over and do the other side soon. You have just 10 seconds to go, so really work with the depth in that leg. Last few seconds.
Resting.
And rest. Nice. Okay, so take a moment just to release those legs, and in a few seconds we're going to get stuck in on the other side. So get ready to go. 3 seconds.
Begin.
Off you go. So stepping it wide, you want the legs to be wider than hip width, and always try and keep your abdominals braced. So if the abs are engaging, then you're always going to have an element of protection for that low back as you sit down in the squat. Really push up onto that one leg. You're really targeting one side at a time here. That's it, keep pushing, don't stop now. You've got just 10 seconds left, so all the way to the end.
Resting.
Good, and rest. Okay, so it's getting rid of that bar if you're using it, and you're going to head over to your dumbbells. But this exercise is quite intense, as I said at the start, so if you're doing it body weight, that's more than enough. So into a lunge.
Begin.
So taking a lunge, and then you're going to push up and come into a single leg deadlift. So making sure you've got a wide distance in between the legs, and then when you come into that deadlift over that straight leg at the front, make sure you've not locked the knee back. So there'll be a little micro bend behind the knee, and that's just going to protect the knee joint because it's quite a lot on that front leg. So you should feel this quite a lot in the front hamstring, and it's going to be testing your balance as well. So know that it's kind of a compound exercise, working lots of different body parts. 10 seconds to go. Really push into that front heel. Last few seconds.
Resting.
Nice. Okay, we're going to swap over and do the other leg now, so take some time to rest. Okay, setting the body up. Here we go. Other leg. 3. So down in that lunge, dropping the back knee after we take that deadlift. There we go, completely forgot what I was doing there. So we want to take the weight in the front leg, and then we tip over that front leg. So the back leg there is just to support you. So I was getting all kind of shakiness going on in my legs at this point, so if you're there, I'm with you. Maybe now you know what I mean about not needing the weights necessarily. So as you come down into that lunge, make sure you can still see your front toes out in front of you. So you don't want the knee to track over the toes.
Hard stop.
Resting.
Okay, this is your rest time. So put those weights down. We're now going into a straight leg deadlift. So you can use the bar if you want, or body weight. Get ready to go.
Begin.
Okay, so coming down, you're going to squeeze on the way up, making sure that you've got a little micro bend in the knees. Again, so we're not locking the joint. And you almost feel as if you're pushing your bottom backwards, and then the way you come up to standing is you squeeze your bottom. Now often we have a tendency to round in this position, the back to round down. So really imagine you've got something squeezing in between your shoulder blades the whole time. You'll really feel this working into the backs of the legs. 10 seconds to go. So feel the hamstring stretch and then squeeze as you recover.
Resting.
Nice. So now you're going to be putting something on the floor to protect your knees. I just use my booty band. You're going to bring the bar to your shoulders and you're going to kneel onto the floor. Again, body weight's fine. So hovering the hips from the heels, you're then going to lift the hips and squeeze. So don't sit all the way down completely if you can, and we're just then lifting the hips up and squeezing them in the air. So have a little moment to pause as you get to the top, really squeeze. So if we're thinking about breathing here, which we always should be, you want to exhale as you lift the hips up into the air. So inhale to sink the hips down and then exhale to pick the hips up again. 10 seconds.
Resting.
Okay, so now we're going to come into hip thrusts with our back on a ledge, or you can just do a glute bridge if you don't have a ledge. So bar to the hips. And if you are using a step or a ledge to rest your shoulders, make sure it's your shoulder blades that are resting and then the chin stays tucked. So the movement's only coming from the hips. And if you don't have access to a bar or if you're not using a step, then just a single, just a basic glute bridge will work absolutely fine here. Have a moment to have a micro pause at the top as you squeeze the hips into the air. Really push forward, you've got this last 10 seconds. You've got a long break coming up. Okay, so last exercise before your longer break, and these are glute bridges with a hip abduction. So we're sending the knees away from the midline of the body. Optional use of the band. So the hips come up into the air and then you're going to send the knees out. If you're using the band, you're going to feel a little bit of extra resistance against the legs moving, which is going to target into the glute min and me just a little bit more. Make sure that your abdominals are still braced in this glute bridge to protect the lower back. And you can see I've got these kind of like dinosaur arms. And that's just to take away a little bit of support from the arms. So the arms aren't helping me stay up there. You might find that you need them on the floor, so always take that option if you need it. 10 seconds.
Resting.
Nice, okay, so you have 1 whole minute here to enjoy. So by all means, take a drink and just take some moment to rest. If you can tell, I actually thought there was another exercise and I was trying to remember it. Hence the fact I'm lying on the floor thinking, what am I doing now? And then I realised, yeah, it was rest time. So, so for round 2 of 3, you've got the option of keeping the booty band on for those squats at the start. But again, that is an option. It does make it more intense. You've got 20 seconds left of your breather. Five seconds to go. Let's get ready with that bar on the shoulders if you're using it. So stepping 1 foot out to the side, you return back to the squats with that side step. So lots of muscles in the legs and glutes are working here. You've of course got the inner thighs working as they squeeze together, but mainly we're targeting outer thigh and outer glute of the hip. So the bottom, the booty.
Baby, I got that thing, and I know that's right. Baby, I got that thing, and I know.
Okay, you have 10 seconds left. Really sink low. Push into the heel. Okay, you've got 15 seconds. Take a moment just to let those legs release. 5 seconds. Out the leg, here we go. So stepping wide, making sure the toes are turned out ever so slightly. And the knees are tracking in line, so we don't want to let the knees roll in. And if you're using that band, there's a little bit of extra resistance against the legs and the knees externally rotating slightly outwards, so really work with that if you're using the band. And the chest up and open. Just 10 seconds to go. And rest time. So we have these lunges. You don't need the band for these. They're hard enough. So wide stance with the legs.
Begin.
Sink the back knee low. And then tip over that front leg. So you don't need to tip over very far for that deadlift because it's quite a lot with the legs that far apart. Now if you find doing this with weights in the hand is too much, then of course know that you can always not go down as far, you can release the weights from your hands and just use body weight. Remember, always brace the abdominals. Just 10 seconds, you're basically there. Okay, let's take that on the other side. So begin to set the body up. You're going to step the other foot in front, wide stance with the legs, toes facing forwards. Okay, back knee drops, and then we tip the body over, making sure not to round in the upper back. Keep breathing. Maybe you can notice that you've got one side that you have more balance and one side that's a little bit more tricky. I definitely do. So how are those legs feeling now? They should feel like they're working hard. At this point, my hamstrings were definitely awake. 10 seconds.
Resting.
Nice, okay, so that's that one done. You're halfway through your second round. So let's get that bar. You're going to take straight leg deadlifts.
Begin.
So making sure the feet are underneath the hips. And this is different to the traditional deadlift exercise because traditionally we will bend the knees deeply as we come down. But this targets the hamstrings just that extra bit more, and that was really the focus of this session. So nice long spine, and then squeeze the hips on the way up. Use your glutes to bring you up. Last 10 seconds, really squeeze into the back of the legs. Don't let them switch off now.
Resting.
Amazing, you've made it to the rest. Okay, so protect those knees. Something needs to be on the floor, especially if they're knobbly like mine. Wait, if you're using one on the shoulders, let's kneel down. Okay, so sinking the hips back towards the heels and then really squeezing the glutes. So squeeze your bottom to push your hips forwards. Again, abs braced all the time. Don't let them switch off. Pelvic floor engaging, core engaging. So really make sure when you bring the hips low, you don't release them completely onto the heels, so they're always engaged. That's what makes this exercise much more of a challenge. 10 seconds, really squeeze on the way up. You're nearly there. Okay, nice. Let's release that bar down. You're going to come over and you're going to take either your glute bridge or you're going to take your hip thrusts with the step.
Begin.
Okay, so if you're using that bar, making sure it's resting just on the hips. You might want to pad it if it's uncomfortable for you. And you're sending the hips up into the air. Abdominals braced. And making sure those feet are just underneath the knees. They're not too far out and they're not too close in. Making sure the chin's tucked. Now, if ever our low back starts to hurt, we've gone up too far and we're not engaging the abdominals enough. So just bear that in mind. Last few seconds, really, really squeeze.
Resting.
And rest. Nice. Last exercise before your breather. So maybe popping that band on above the knees. Glute bridge. Sending the hips up and then you're going to take the knees out. So really squeeze the knees out to the side, squeeze them out. Keep breathing, don't hold the breath here. So really think about what muscles we're targeting. Here we're thinking about side of the glutes. So your glute min and me, they should be burning by now. Okay, last 10 seconds, really, really push for the last little bit of work. You've got a long breather coming up.
Resting.
Nice, okay, so you have 1 whole minute. So maybe you want to take the knees into the body and just allow yourself to rest for a moment. And you can just do whatever you need to do to rest the body. Maybe some sips of water, maybe some slow, deep breaths. So you've got just one last set left. You only have one set through. So often the brain will give up long before our body does. So really talk yourself into it. Make sure that you are determined and you are ready. You have 15 seconds, so start to get ready with that bar if you're using it. Those legs should really be burning in this last round, so hopefully you've got there. 5 seconds.
Begin.
Okay, so sinking low, taking that leg wide, and then inner thighs glue together. So these are the last few minutes of work you've got to do today, and then just think about all of the benefits that your body's going to reap for it at the end. So don't talk yourself down. Don't talk yourself out of it. Talk yourself into it now. You can do it. Of course you can. You've only got 10 seconds. What have you got to lose? Sink those hips low and squeeze the hips. Squeeze the glutes on the way up. 5 seconds. Nice, so you just have to do this exercise one more time on the other leg. Are you ready? 5 seconds. Here we go. So breathe, maybe prepare yourself. You've got this. I know those legs are going to be feeling it by now, but you are so strong, so you can do this. And you will see it through to the end. And you will feel amazing for it afterwards. You know you will. I don't need to tell you. Okay, last push now. 10 seconds left. Make it happen. Nice, you've only got 6 exercises left to finish your workout today. So we're taking that lunge. So you want to take a wide position between the front and the back foot.
Begin.
So sink that back knee down, weight in the front leg, tip over the front leg, long spine, straight back. So you'll notice you won't have to tip over very far to get that sensation in the hamstring, to get a sense that it's working hard. I know my legs are shaking at this point. Okay, so last 10 seconds. Come on, really fight for it. No one else is going to do it but you. Nice. And again, last time we have to do this exercise on the other leg. This one is a killer. I completely know how you feel right now. So are you ready?
Begin.
Back knee sinks low. And tip over that leg. Always trying to keep the spine long, so don't let yourself round down in the shoulders. Imagine the crown of your head is always growing taller and longer. How's your balance feeling now? The legs are a bit tired. I know I'm a bit wobbly. So close. You've got 10 seconds to push through to the end. Really fight for it now. Nice. Okay, so you're halfway through. You only have 4 exercises left to finish. So let's take that straight leg deadlift. Bring the feet underneath the hips. So over we go and squeeze my way up. This is one of my favourite exercises, and I think I like it because it's really, really effective, but it doesn't feel like a horrendous amount of work. Maybe you agree, maybe you don't. But compared to things like squats, I just find this a lot easier, but a lot more fun. Okay, you've got just 10 seconds. Nice. Okay, so let's pad those knees. Something for you to kneel on. Bring the knees to the floor. And maybe you're using an extra bit of weight on those shoulders. 3 seconds. So sink the hips and hover and squeeze them up again. So this exercise is excellent for targeting the glutes and the hamstrings, but also the quads are stabilizing as you push the hips backwards. So really, really excellent exercise to do. Making sure you keep that back in neutral when you push the hips forwards though. You've got this. Just 10 seconds. So you've got just 2 exercises to go. You're basically there. So no talking yourself out of it. You're going to take those hip thrusts. Okay, so shoulders resting on that ledge, squeeze the hips up into the air. And again, this is targeting the glutes really quite powerfully, so hopefully you can feel it working. Feel it working the bum. Okay, just 10 seconds to finish now. Really squeeze. Fight to the end. Okay, that's it. Pop that bar off. You can come onto the floor and we're going to take a glute bridge with those knee abductions to finish. You've got 45 seconds left of work and you're done.
Begin.
Okay, so send the hips up into the air and then take those knees out just a few degrees, a few inches. Outer thighs burning by now, I know. 30 seconds of work to finish you off, team, you're so close. You're nearly there. Last 10 seconds to go. Really squeeze those legs out. Stop.
And time. Resting. Great effort.
Great effort. Well done. So take those knees into the body and just give them a squeeze. Just allow the lower back to melt into the floor and just take a moment to let the body breathe. Maybe you want to nod your forehead towards your knees and just round the back. When you're ready, you're going to come up to standing and we're going to stretch out those hamstrings because they felt that quite intensely, I know. So one heel comes forwards and you're going to bend into the back knee. Keep the spine nice and strong and straight, but you're going to push the hips backwards, maybe give the toes a wiggle. Let's switch over and do the other leg. If that's a bit much for you, you can keep the toes on the floor. And just one last stretch to finish. You're going to take hold of the ankle and you're going to keep the knees together just to stretch out those quads. And you can have a really serious look on your face like me here. And then you swap over. Other leg, keep those knees close and tuck the pelvis forwards. Amazing. So releasing those legs, just allow yourself to come back to a state of rest. You made it. You are excellent. Well done. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Thanks for watching.
For the first